Well, hello there, and welcome to this tutorial. Today we are going to be talking about something that I am super passionate about, and that is drawing dragon poses, specifically dynamic dragon poses. This is something that I struggled with for so long until I realized I was going about it all wrong. So today I'm going to teach you how I draw dynamic dragon poses now so that you don't have to struggle like I did. So, what did I do so wrong? Well, like many beginner artists, I thought that I could just come up with a pose in my head and draw it without using references because I was impatient. I just wanted to sit down and draw and not quote unquote waste time looking for a good reference. And also, as a beginner artist, I wasn't quite sure where to draw the line between like what is copying and what is referencing. Thankfully, I have gotten over that nonsense. And in this video, I'm going to show you my current process, which I think naturally is a good process, of using references in order to draw dynamic dragon poses. So let's get started. Now, the first thing we have to think about is how are we going to find references when you can't, just look up pictures of dragons? Well, I'll show you. The first step is to find a good reference of a quadruped in a dynamic pose, and then a picture of either a bat or a bird, usually flying, doing something interesting with its wings. All right, good. And now we're going to do something a little funky with them. We are going to make the unholy offspring of a cheetah and a bat. Basically, what this amounts to is putting wings on a cheetah, but it's more fun to say that you're creating the unholy offspring. Is that just me? I don't know, I like it. You might also notice that here I'm distorting the bat wings a little bit, and that's because I kind of want them a little bit in perspective. I want them to be tilted so that the wing isn't just like flat. I want them to be slightly horizontal, if that makes sense. So I'm distorting them a little bit, but you don't have to do that. It looked quite fine before. This is just something I decided to do. I spend some time tweaking it so that my cheetah bat is just right, ready for me to draw, and that brings me to the next step. After actually a little bit of trouble merging the wrong layers. Alright, step 3 is drawing that Frankensteinian creation that we cobbled together out of a few pictures. AKA, just draw what you made. My footage is going to speed up faster than real time, so no, I do not draw this quickly. This is, I think, 7 times speed of how I was actually drawing. But yeah, I just draw the mock-up that I made. It's actually a pretty, I think, popular practice in traditional painting, like oil painting, to make a Photoshop mock-up of elements of the painting and then paint the mock-up so that everything is ready. You just paint what you see, which is a lot easier than trying to imagine how the pieces are going to fit together. You do all that thought work beforehand, and then you get to just kind of zone out and focus on drawing what's in front of you. We're not going to spend time on the face though, because the next step is changing stuff. Yes, we are going to change our cheetah bat into a dragon, mostly by changing the head shape. That's kind of the main thing I changed for this piece, and adding some spikes, some horns, some, a dragon face. That's kind of important. But yeah, for my process, I don't really make too detailed sketches. This sketch is plenty good for me to start painting it. If you like to make more detailed sketches, you can do that as well. I think this mock-up method is really powerful for getting you to be able to draw dynamic poses without it being too difficult. You don't have to no perspective, like the back of your hand, you can just look at the reference and then you change whatever you want to make it look dragony. The other perk to using this method is your dragon anatomy is going to be pretty believable because it's based off of an actual animal. Alright, so you don't have to use a cheetah bat for this method to work. I wanted to show the versatility of this method, so we're going to do it again. This time with an unholy horse bat hybrid. So now you can see why I said you need a quadruped and a bat. I guess actually it would work with a biped, but I mean, what are your options for a biped? Like a human or a bird? No, I don't want to make a human dragon. I want to make a dragon. So this is what I do. I find a quadruped. Now, I know I mentioned earlier that one of the problems I had when I started trying to draw dynamic dragon poses is I would try to just imagine them. And it's my actual belief that using a reference is always going to make the end result better. But over time, the more practice you have, the less you really need to rely on references right in front of your eyes. You will have a catalog in your brain of references. Technically, still using references, they're just in your visual library, is how a lot of people put it. Okay, now this one is really fun because I changed more with this drawing than I did with the first one. Now, it's perfectly acceptable to have a dragon with front legs that look like a horse's, but that's not what I was going for with this dragon, so I shortened that wrist area. I don't know what it's called. I don't know horses at all. Is it a knee? I don't know. And then I start working on making the head look more dragony. I start out with it being pretty close to the original, and then I kind of just end up totally changing it, which is happening right here. I wanted my dragon to have a longer neck and a more reptilian head. So these changes not only make the dragon look more dragony, they also make sure you're not just directly copying your mock-up. Now, if you have the rights to use like a certain stock photo, then heck yeah, you can copy it directly. But if not, I always think that it's better to change some stuff. And of course, if you paint it, then it's gonna become, that's very additive, and that's definitely changing stuff so that you're not directly copying. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that in case people are worried that this is too much copying. It's not. You're changing stuff. Even if you were to use a photo of a lizard head and draw it that way, still, you have changed it so much. You are not copying, you are referencing. So, yeah. Alright, and then one last point that is probably pretty obvious, but having a lot of references saved on an app like Pinterest helps a lot with this process, this method. So I would say invest some time in Pinterest, or as I've mentioned in a previous video, I have like thousands of pins for references, and if you want access to that Pinterest, let me know and I'll see what I can do about making it available. I don't know anything about Pinterest, so in any case, I hope someone out there found this video helpful for their art journey, their dragon art journey, and yeah, that's all I have for today. So thank you for watching, and I will see you around.